Okay.
All right, we finally ready to start the real broadcast?
I'm ready.
Yeah. Not yet. Oh, I don't see it yet. It's weird. I got the notification on my phone, but not on YouTube.
I have it open.
Okay.
Think so.
Yeah, just hit the mute and unmute whenever it applies.
What's up, people?
Yeah, just hit the mute and unmute whenever.
Alright, I gotta remove the mute off of OBS so y'all can hear me.
Is anyone talking?
I'm not. Cloud might be. Looking at the stream, seems like Cloud's struggling over there.
I think I broke your podcast.
Yeah, it was you, specifically you. The whole podcast is fragmented. Well, looks like Cloud having some issues over there, man.
Alright, y'all gotta be able to hear me now.
Yes, I can hear you now.
Alright. Alright, everybody. Okay, let me get out of this. I hear everyone now. What's up, everybody? It's your boy DC. This is Final Dash Podcast, episode 2. This is the actual podcast. This is not weekly roundup. And today we have our guest, Kim, fragmented, old YouTuber, really good friend. I know he feels indifferent about that, but it's because I'm just terrible when it comes to communicating with people. Taku knows the truth. So everyone, go ahead and introduce yourself. Taku, go ahead and introduce yourself, and then we'll go over to Frag.
Hey, it's Taco Hiwatari, co-host of this podcast. Upload uploaded pretty regularly on this channel. You guys should be familiar with me and some of the content I've been putting out. But I will go ahead and pass it to Frag, who we have not seen for a while.
Hello, everybody. This is Pharaohs. My name used to be Frag, and you guys can hear all about it in my catch-all book, which is coming to bookshelves later this year, called The Death of Fragmented. But outside of that, it's been playing games. I'm an avid game collector and hardcore enthusiast when it comes to all things tech.
Sounds good.
That's what's up, man.
Pharaohs.
It's been a minute, dude. He's not lying. Every time there's a new game that comes out on Switch and I get on my Switch, yo, I see Pharaoh's playing it immediately, and I'm like, bro, you think I buy a lot of games, bro? You don't want to see his collection.
Oh, man, I'll have to go through it. I'll have to see if I have them on Switch.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure I do. I just didn't connect the dots. That
Yeah, you do.
name change.
he's his name is Pharaohs on Switch. Glasses, all that stuff. So before we get started, go ahead and tell everybody what you've been playing, Frag. Beat Pharaohs.
Oh my God, it's fine. It's gonna take a while to get used to it. But no, I've been playing so much across a wide spectrum of platforms. For example, I recently started game collecting, both physical cartridges and actual like digital software. I've recently added 4 or 5 classic consoles to my library. Examples being the Sega Dreamcast, the Sega Saturn, the Nintendo 64, the Nintendo GameCube. All three classic systems between the PlayStation system, the Super Nintendo, and the Sega Genesis, and also the OG Xbox. And they are doing my current library of consoles, which include the PlayStation 4 Pro, the Xbox One X, the Nintendo Switch Revision, and the Nintendo Switch Lite.
Hot.
See what I'm
Damn.
talking about?
Bro, you need a hyperbolic time chamber.
Yeah, it's difficult. Like I said, I've been playing something on every single console. Today alone, I played Sega Saturn, I played Shenmue 2, I played Dreamcast, I played Switch, and I think and PC. And I just purchased the latest Tom Clancy Ghost Recon, which I haven't had a chance to dig into yet, but I will after this podcast. So,
All right, so asking you what you're not playing would have been a much easier question.
yes.
Yeah, definitely. All right, talking what you've been playing.
Lately, I've been just chipping away at the Dragon Quest XI demo on the Switch just because the demo is long as hell. And literally minutes before this, we got together for this podcast, I had completed the story portion of the demo. And outside of that, I haven't been doing too much gaming as I've been focusing on some other stuff. Like this is Inktober, so I've been trying to get into that, jumpstart my art stuff again. And my birthday was earlier this week, so
Happy belated.
thank you, thank you. So yeah, I mean, it's just a bunch of stuff came up at once, so I haven't really got too much of a chance to get gaming done. I've been playing a little bit of mobile gaming on my phone, specifically the Mario Kart, so I could talk about it here, which we will get into. We will get into, and it's spoiler alert, it's not pretty. It's oh my goodness, but yeah, that's what I've been
So
doing.
so so hold on. So are you telling me that there are other YouTubers on the internet that are Nintendo fans that are not speaking the so-called gospel about this game?
Well, yeah, you could say that, but at the same time, the mobile thing and Nintendo, I mean, I don't think anyone's really ever taken it too seriously. It's a complete hit or miss with their mobile games. Like some of them are good and some of them are bad. And Mario Kart Tour just falls on the bad spectrum. It just really does.
Yeah, I haven't played it yet, but we're gonna start it off with one of the new things that just finally got shipped to me
Hold up,
is
slow your roll. What you been playing, Cloud?
oh, well, for one, if you can see the camera, not really much. Kind of broke my thumb, so that comes off November 6th. So I've just been playing RPGs because that's the only thing that doesn't need reaction when it comes to your left thumbstick. So I've been playing some Dragon Quest. I've been playing Nino Kuni, and I have been playing Grid, but I have to use motion controls. And I've been playing some PC Final Fantasy 14 online because that's the only way I can game right now without my thumb.
Hey, Dark.
Yo,
I'm not sure if you know, but there's a disabled controller for the Xbox One that's
oh
available
my
now.
god. Every time
Of
I
course he's
go to
doing
work, every time I go to work and I say I can't game, that is immediately the response I get from people. And I'm not going to do that. I can wait till November 6th. I can just cut through, some RPGs slowly at my pace. I'm not getting that controller because I'm not disabled. I will say this, though. I give a shout out to all the people that have missing limbs because not having a thumb, I can definitely say that I feel it sucks. There's times I need to get my phone out my back pocket and I just can't. Like the other day, I literally had to ask my wife to open my soda for me. That sucks, dude. So big shout out to anybody that has any disabilities that can't use their functions the way they want to, the way they're used to, or just never got a chance to, because it sucks, dude. Like there are so many times I forget, like like phantom limbs, that I forget that my thumb's in the cast, and I try to like type or pick up my phone. And I just got the iPhone Pro 11 Max, and typing on a big phone like that with one hand sucks, dude. It sucks. So big shout out
Hey,
to those
Dark.
people. Yeah.
And shout out to your wife for having to open your soda even when your arm isn't
I need a thumb for that. I definitely need a thumb for that.
at muscle.
Oh,
Oh,
dude, I
shots.
got I got all the muscle right here, buddy. I go to the gym. I still work out. Just can't do any upper body. I'm just doing legs and the core. Um, but the M Classic, for all of those that don't know what that is, if you look on screen, the M Classic is a device that just was released by, I think the name of the company is Marcielini. It's a European company that have been making cables for a while, and their cables basically help with anti-aliasing, better pixels. Guys, go ahead, talk amongst yourself for a second.
Uh, why did you start off with this topic and then walk away? Because I don't have it, and I don't know if Pharaohs has it.
Yeah,
Are
so
you there?
yeah, I'm here.
Uh,
So this thing supposedly gives you better graphics, better pixels, and better gameplay. I don't know about the better gameplay part because if you go all the way down and you actually look, what it does is it basically smooths out anti-aliasing. I have one. It's hard to show on this screen right now. I do have my Switch hooked up to my AverMedia, but for some reason, when it comes to the AverMedia and I switch it on or off, there's very little difference. But when you hook it up to a 4K TV, and it's basically like a TV, you basically see it. One of the things when it comes to Switch, it bumps any game that's native 1080p to 1440p, and games that are 720p, it bumps it up to a little bit higher than 1080p. And that's true. I've actually tested that and looked at the difference, and it's definitely different. One of the things it also does is it adds depth of field, and it basically over sharpens things. But one of the things that it's doing to me that I'm not really a fan of, and this picture actually shows it. So the picture on screen shows like something that has like a lot of pixelation or like shimmering. What it does is it smooths out the edges. But what it for Nintendo Switch games, what it does is it makes it look like cartoony graphics. Like it puts like a weird like outline around it. And I got to do some more testing. I hooked it up to my PS4 and it only adds depth And as for like improving gaming, it adds about a point 0.2 milliseconds. So I don't know about what they mean by improving gaming. It doesn't really add any lag time, and it has two different scaling modes. It has for scaling on, which comes out the box, and then you have a retro mode. Right now, this thing's around $100+ because if you join the Kickstarter literally was only like $50 for one, and I got two of them. So I have one upstairs connected to my Switch dock upstairs, and I have one downstairs connected to the one down here. I see more of
Can
a
I
bigger
borrow one?
difference. Huh?
Can I borrow one?
From what I hear, man, I hear you're balling compared to me, man.
I
Well,
What?
based on
mean,
what
you
you
just went
said,
on a
for sure,
retro
if I
streak.
actually
You
want to
got
buy it, that's why I
crib
want to try
there.
yours.
Oh, okay. So just in case if you want to buy one or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, it I gotta say that if this was the Switch Pro, I would be very underwhelmed. From what I'm hearing, it helps out classic games way more, which is ironic because the games that they're showing better anti-aliasing are older games. I think this is Final Fantasy VII that they're showing on the screen. But it's $100, and if you were on the Kickstarter again, you could basically get it for. I think they're still doing, which is 60% off, so you only get it for like $75 or something like that. But I was an early adopter, so I'm not saying that it's a bad thing, but it's a decent thing, and I like what they're doing. Kind of like what I was hoping that Nintendo would do with like if they were to come out with like remember back in the day talking we were talking about like Nintendo coming out with a dock that increases it kind of like the way Razer had like their core adapter where you could plug it into your PC to and or like basically plug it into a monitor and get more resolution out of it.
Yeah, I remember, and that I still feel like that's a good way to go about doing a quote unquote Switch Pro, would just be to have the extra oomph in the dock. So when you dock it, you get like a actual, console quality experience that would, in my mind, at least be on par with like PS4 and Xbox One. And then handheld mode would still be handheld mode, which is fine for what it is. But the extra boost in dock mode, I feel like, is what people really want out of the system.
Exactly. So that leads me to Pharaoh. One of the things that I'm not sure if we talked about this back then. I'm not sure. But even if we didn't, it's whatever. Would you prefer Nintendo to come out with a Switch Pro, or would you prefer for them to come out with a more powerful dock, where when you dock the Switch, it basically takes over and gives you better resolution, better frame rate, better textures, and all that stuff?
I would like to see them do both. Actually, I want to see Nintendo release a Switch Pro that comes with an enhanced dock as well, and have them take a development standpoint that's similar to Microsoft and their Xbox base console and the Xbox X. So when devs get a game, they make it both run at a lower resolution for the regular Switch, basically the normal 1087, 720p, whatever have you, and then for the higher, the stronger dock, stronger console, better higher resolutions. That's it.
So I was thinking about that. If they came out with a dock that gave us that better texture and resolution, I think that dock would have to have some sort of internal storage, because I couldn't imagine them expecting us to have bigger memory cards to download the rest of those textures to go along with that. Because in order
Have you
for
ever played on a Nintendo console before?
yes, I have. Nintendo doesn't care about you having extra memory.
No, they do not.
Never
uh,
did,
at the moment,
unfortunately.
right now, I'm using a 512 gigabyte micro SD card that I got for a pretty good deal.
Ballin'.
How much do you pay for that?
The deal I got was only $46.
Oh, that's really good.
Did you say $46 for 512?
Yeah, remember,
What?
with my job,
You didn't hook me up?
I communicate with Best Buy employees. Man, the manager gave me a pretty good deal. I'm not gonna say what location, but it was dope. $46.
Sounds like it. I wouldn't know.
And then I gave my son my 400 gig that I had before. Um, so one of the things I want to move over to real quick is, whoops, whoops, whoops. This.
Before we move on from this topic, addressing the storage space issue,
Hmm.
if they did come out with a Switch Pro and maybe an enhanced dock, would be to allow the dock to, well, put more USB ports on there and then allow you hard drives to it at the very least, since Nintendo's all about get your own storage, you know? Like, I feel like that'd be the best middle ground between what we want and then, like, what Nintendo would do.
For the question for Warlock, yeah. So the M Classic it's worth it. Um, there are other devices that I heard of that increase resolution for older like retro style games. Apparently, this is not the first time there's a retro style like adapter or anything like that. There was one for like the older retro style system that cost like $200. I don't know what it is, but if this is cheaper and it's basically doing that, it's worth it. I just need to test it a little bit more. But yeah, yeah, like you said, if they do make this dock, it needs to have Bluetooth capabilities for headsets. There's too. I'm not running a 7 foot or 12 foot aux cable to a pair of headphones, dude. I know that there are PlayStation and other like who is it Steel Series that makes like a pair of headphones that have like a USB dongle, where if you actually plug it into the Switch dock, it will give you wireless, but it's only for dialogue, not sound.
What they need to do, that Bluetooth, it just needs to be implemented into the Switch itself, if that's like a new model or a pro version. Just because on the go, Bluetooth headphones are becoming more common, and people would just love to use it for something like the Switch. Just not having any wires, and like especially for something you're holding and actively playing, that would be a big bonus.
I'm pretty sure we all have expensive phones or really decent phones. One of the number one things that's not on phones anymore is an Ethernet. I mean, a 3.5 millimeter jack. So everybody's going Bluetooth. I mean, there's the one-off companies that have that, but I'm pretty sure you guys have phones that don't have headphone jacks. But
I
so,
have the Razer phone too, so I definitely don't have a headphone jack.
see what I'm
No, I
saying?
have a pretty low tier phone, so it has a headphone jack.
Really? I would have expected you to have like I don't know, like an iPhone 15 or something from the future.
No,
He's into retro gaming and retro phones.
thank you. As a hardcore gamer and collector now, no, there has to be sacrifices somewhere. So yeah, that's my line.
Yeah, yeah, okay. Uh, so, guys, he has way more money than he's putting out. The guy has also a high-end gaming PC. He has every single Switch game coming out, and I'm pretty sure if I was to check, he'd probably have almost every PC game. Did you get Code Vein for PS4?
I did not.
Oh, okay, all right. I almost proved my point there. All right, so a port specialist came out and advised other devs to not treat the Switch as a secondary platform. Takun, can you run through this one real quick and basically what you read on how you feel about this? Because this guy put out some spicy news.
Yeah, so it's not so much news, but it's definitely hot take to it's it's a very divisive stance, and he's taken it very well, and he's a developer. It's like some random guy or hold on, well, maybe not a developer. Okay, vice president of GameIndustry.biz. Whatever. Regardless, I'll read off what he said. So it says the first thing we recommend is not treating the Switch as a secondary platform and to plan for a simultaneous day one release of the Switch version of your game. Look towards the Switch as a way to rejuvenate a brand. The audience is younger than those who typically own other consoles, so having your IP on the Switch is a great way to invest in the future. And that's like the first half. We want to talk about that real quick. I'm not aware of what the average age of a Switch owner is, but if this is true, that it's a younger audience, then that's a very good take to have. It's a very good mindset to have. You're developing games for the Switch, basically saying not treat it as an afterthought. Come out on the same day as it would the other consoles because that's when the hype is most active for any game. So you don't want to release a Switch version a few months later after people just couldn't wait to get the game. They already got it on other systems. You're already killing the sales of the Switch version. And let's see here, the
Yeah,
younger audience would
yeah,
just be a great way to get that brand recognition to
yeah.
carry on, get them youngsters in there. And let's see the
Uh,
second half of this.
no, no, no. Hold on, hold on.
Or
I want to see. I want Farrell's take on this before I make my take.
yeah, on the first half. I'll read the second half later.
Okay, hopefully I don't overstep here.
No, man,
I'll
go
try to
for
be
it.
brief.
Your
I'll
family,
try to
go
be
for it.
brief about this, but essentially, I think that there's a lot to unpack here. Not treating the Switch as a secondary system, in a sense, as a person who owns multiple systems, in a sense, is a danger because take for example games that are coming out nowadays like they release on multiple consoles. If Switch releases day in with the rest of those titles, 9 times out of 10 I'm going to buy the Switch versions first, and the other versions probably never, unless I see a good sale. But yeah, for me, I enjoy having both a game on my premier consoles like the Xbox One X or PS4 Pro, or PC for that matter, and then later on, maybe 4 or 5 months later, pick up a game. Especially if it's not like a big title, but like just a title I'm partially interested in. Yeah, I'd rather play it later on the Switch as an option. So that's just my take on it.
Yeah. So before I start, so this developer or this person said Visceral already shown a lot of love for the Switch, having previously worked on Nintendo versions like Starlink, Battlefront, and Dark Souls Remastered, and LA Noire. So the way that he's going about it, he's definitely right. And one of the things that I wanted to touch on here is, especially when you drop a multiplayer game, the way people see multiplayer games is they feel like you have to get on board with it immediately the day it launches or you lose hype. The reason for that is I'm not saying that it's especially if it's a crossplay game. Let's say if Call of Duty did drop crossplay on the Switch and the Switch version came out months later, people aren't going to get it the same way that, let's say, PlayStation got, what is it, Destiny, a lot of the Destiny 1 DLC way before Xbox did. Xbox gamers or console owners weren't going to sit around and wait to catch up to anybody. They wanted to get on board with it immediately. So I understand where he's coming from with this. And and just like Farrell said, 9 times out of 10, if a game is dropping on the Switch day one with everything else, I'm gonna get on the Switch first because growing up, I don't have as much time on the couch like I used to. I will sacrifice some resolution to play a game walking around the house. If I come downstairs to work on a paper, I turn on the PC, pull out my iPad, or work on my Surface, working on some spreadsheets whenever I have downtime. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
I definitely understand that. You wanted to say something, Farrell?
it's fine. Cam's fine too. That's my name, everybody. Cam. Anyways, um, I was going to say another good example of good crossplay in games that come out way after the fact. In this case, a year or so, is Divinity Original Sin 2, which shares cross save functionality with Steam. So you can play your Steam, turn around, hop on your Switch, and then play there, and vice versa. So it's really awesome.
I had no idea about that. That's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was one of the things. So you actually have that game. Could you touch on that really quick? Because we were both thinking about picking it up.
It is a game. Okay, first and foremost, you have to love RPGs. Not like love RPGs. It is a very character-driven game. There are a lot of choices to be made that can end in numerous different ways, from being what you want to something that you definitely did not want. It encourages multiplayer. So me, you, and Tycoon, for example, could all have a game together and go through the entire 40 plus, more realistically, 80 plus hour RPG together. And yeah, the entire thing's voice. He has a great production values. I mean, I love the game.
I saw that, and one of the warnings that people told me, if you didn't love playing games like Baldur's Gate and Neverwinter Nights because of how heavy RPG those were, don't get this game.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah, and I actually love those games, so I'm good. I'm definitely gonna pick it up. So Takun, go ahead in the second half of this part of the topic. Did we lose Takun? He probably stepped away. Uh, I will say this. I do love the fact. I don't want to go on until he's back. I do love the fact that games are starting to show face on Switch because people have had this thing where they feel like the Switch can't get every game. When it comes to development and the way mobile phone games are today, we can get everything, but the way that today's economy is, people are, I wouldn't say people, I would say the hardcore have this forefront where they feel that they need to push graphics, fidelity before anything else. Uh-oh, he's having internet problems. All right, so
Oh wow.
yeah.
So those people who are saying they want graphics over fidelity, I would say this: you're not really a Switch owner, are you?
Exactly. Um, I will say that some people have had this stigma where the Switch has become like the indie mobile game hub, which I don't think that's fair because that's definitely not the case for me. That's definitely not the case for you. Yeah, it has a lot of those games, but it also has a lot of amazing games. Like look at this year, for instance. Like,
Oh, I see what you're saying. You're saying that people are saying that Switch is only good for indie games.
yep, it's only good for indie games and mobile-like games coming over.
Oh
Like,
my God, no! Oh God, no!
yeah, for instance, like a game like Modern Combat that's very popular on cell phones, it came over on Switch and died immediately. So that type of thinking, yeah, people would rather wait for a Call of Duty spin-off to be made directly for this.
Oh wow. Yeah. If anybody's on the fence about buying the Nintendo Switch, don't be. The Nintendo Switch has the fastest growing library in history. That I guess I forgot where I saw that stat, and I apologize. I'm not the kind of person that just blurts out things without proof. But
No, no, no. I believe you.
yes,
I've seen it. I've seen it before.
it's really it's amazing. Yes, there's a large indie presence on the Switch, but I guarantee you, if you look at my library, like 75% of it is 20 is probably AAA to AA titles easily.
So I definitely agree with that. Um, one of the things is that the way that developers are looking at the Switch, like for instance, the way EA, I don't know if you saw the stuff. This is still covering the first half. How EA came out and basically was saying that um, people that own a Switch see it as a second. They see it as a secondary device to their main system. So that is one of the reasons there's not like a Sims on the Switch. There's not like a Madden on the Switch. There's not like an NBA Live or any of their high-end AAA titles. And they had some sort of data that proves this. I don't know what data they're looking at, but I wanted to get your take on that because I call that total baloney.
Yeah, honestly, I've noticed that a lot of the so-called AAA developers are taking a wait and see stance. And what I mean by by a lot, I mean literally two, which is Activision and EA, the two biggest. And I find that ironic because every other developer, Bethesda, who else is there? Capcom, they're taking chances on the Switch, and every single time they take a chance, it ends in money for them. It is what 30 going on 40 plus million units out there now for the Switch. Um,
And their
it's
attach
selling.
rate is pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's selling faster than even the PS4 did. In comparison, given the same amount of time. Um, yeah, the Switch is on one level you can call it people's secondary system, and if that's what helps them sleep at night, so be it. But in reality, you have people, and I'm generalizing here when I say this, and I apologize, Tycoon, if he doesn't fall into this category. But hardcore gamers that are Nintendo diehards like Tycoon, um, might only own that as their primary gaming system. They might have a PC as well, but their primary console might be the Switch. And I can guarantee you, they're not starved for games this generation. They are. There is an abundance of games, and across every single genre you can think of. And I mean, I could go on for hours with this. Let me shut up.
No, no, no. It's always
Okay,
good to have a
well,
different take on this. Taco, is that you? You're back?
yeah, I think so.
All right.
So I think
So
I caught the tail end of that. I don't know what the entire scope of the topic is, but I did
no,
hear
no, we didn't go to the
about.
second half. I definitely wanted your take on the second half.
Okay, did y'all read it off
Nope.
already?
We're
No.
waiting on you.
Oh, okay. So, just real quick, 2 cents on what y'all were talking about. I find it very interesting that EA and Activision, the two, like Pharaoh said, like two of the biggest third-party publishers out there, who are known for just grabbing money from anywhere and willing to do anything, refuse to put stuff on the Switch, which at this point just prints money. Very interesting. But getting into the second half of this, of the original quote we were talking about here. So he says the second recommendation is to add special features and extra content, simple efforts that only incur a marginal workload impact, but can prove double the interest from both Nintendo and the Switch player base, consequently doubling the revenue potential. And another part of the quotes here says, in fact, not taking advantage of the biggest portable gaming platform in the market today could even be seen as a lost opportunity. So that ties perfectly into the whole, EA and Activision not having a big presence on the Switch is just basically a huge loss of money.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, uh, some people have said that it's the reason why some people are not doing it because they see it as a loss of money because they have to buy carts. And you see, when people say that, thinking that they know the business model, is yeah, the carts are expensive if you buy it, but the carts aren't expensive when it's bought in bulk. So I don't understand that people don't understand that like a disc costs money, more money bought single, but if you're a developer and you're buying the cart for the games, you're expecting to print hundreds of thousands. Nintendo's not going to charge you. Let's say if the cart's worth $25 single before you add a game, they're not going to charge you that up front. They're going to charge you way, like I don't know, 90% less than what you would buy them for up front. So, and then we're not rebuilding an entire game. If they started with the process of building this game as the game was being announced to launch the same time, all you're basically doing is getting a separate team to work focused on that. And that's basically like nothing. The game was already has its recipe, it's already had its development, it's already had its screen write and its screen rate for it. And all you're doing is basically compressing. That's like saying like, hey, if you have a old GeForce 580, you're never going to be able to play games because you got to wait for a developer to optimize for your graphics card. That just sounds stupid.
What I think should happen here is I think we see all the time in the game industry that developers are being let go left and right as soon as games are done. I think it'd be wise if they were able to hold on to those people and just send a team over to just shadow Nintendo, figure out how they optimize games on the Switch, how they compress games, all that, and then kind of just have like a Nintendo, like a Switch port team for at least like some of the larger devs. In my mind, that makes so much sense, and that's just like easy money if you can get it done right. I, I, I feel like long term that would be much more profitable than most of the industry is currently.
Before I let Pharaohs go, is look at a game like Stardew Valley. Everybody knows I keep bringing this game because that is one of my most favorite. I would say it's in my top 10 games that I played this generation. Uh, it sold more on the Switch with than PC, PS4, and Xbox combined. Just putting that out there. You don't even have to make a cart. You could just have it downloadable. All right, Ferris, go ahead.
I had nothing further to add, Your Honor.
Really, just gonna you so you do you think it's a big loss if do you agree with that the statement of this president that it's a loss, it's an opportunity. The Switch is the biggest portable out there that's popular.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of covered this while Tycoon was away, but I agree with what Tycoon just said a second ago. And yes, I agree that it is a huge loss. It dumbfounds me to see developers and publishers specifically not take this incredible opportunity. We are at the end of the current generation cycle, and the Nintendo Switch will be the console that bridges this console cycle to the next. And while people are waiting for the PS5 and the successor to the Xbox to make games, you're going to see a ton of games come off of the Switch, both new, both old. And any company that's not on that bandwagon, when people are out there trying to buy these affordable Switch games in bulk, like myself and others and you, um, they're crazy. I mean, you don't like money. I get that. You don't like money. I understand.
Picture here. For these developers to not have something on the Switch, it'd be basically like if they walked down the street, came across a pile of like $2, $3 million, and was like, "Whoa, that's awesome!" And they just like walk past it, or like they just pretend it's not there.
Yeah,
That's how it is. I mean, a few more steps, but like you're missing out on free money not having your game on the Switch. If it's a good game, you're definitely missing out not having
Like
it on Switch.
look at like Rocket League. It for the first year of the Switch, it was in the top 5 throughout the entire year. You know those guys were definitely making money.
It's still in the top 30, I think.
Yeah, yeah. So which ties me into the next topic. This actually leads perfectly in, as you can see on the screen. So EA, this is what you get for treating the Switch as a secondary system. So apparently, FIFA 20 on the Switch. This article says why gamers should avoid legacy game. So Taku knows a little bit more about this than I do. From what I've heard, the rumors is that when people that have bought the FIFA 20 edition, when they launched the legacy game, it literally for the first half of the game, when the first game first came out, it was showing FIFA 20, and all you were getting was an updated roster, and you paid $60 for this.
Yeah,
$60.
so the Legacy Edition basically says that this is the older version of the game with just minor tweaks and changes. So when people fired it up, they got a FIFA 19 logo instead of FIFA 20 on the Switch version. The other console versions were FIFA 20, and FIFA 20 already has like a whole controversy and a whole mess around it in the first place. But then the Switch stuff on top of that is insane. In my edition, you're paying, I think it's $50 for the Switch version, and you're literally buying FIFA 19 with the roster update. And it is, tell me that's not a slap in the face. I know we joke about annual sports games coming out and being nothing more than roster updates, but it's not even a joke anymore. It's literally what the Switch version of FIFA 20 is. And yeah, EA can't get mad if people don't buy into it, and they're going to use this as an excuse to not develop on the Switch. We've seen this in the past where EA will purposely do some jank with Nintendo versions and just be like, "Oh, this is why we don't put stuff on Nintendo platforms. People play our games on PS4 and Xbox One or PS3 and 360 at the time." It's like, well, no crap. Do y'all remember back in the Wii U days when Mass Effect 3 was announced for Switch, or not Switch, Wii U, right? And it was coming out, it was a full price $60, which already was hard to swallow. Paying $60 for that game is decently old at that point. And then I swear it was like right around that time frame, like a month before or after Mass Effect 3 came out on the Wii U, they had Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3, like a collection on 360 and PS3 for $40. So, of course, no one bought the Wii U version. You know what I'm saying? So,
yes.
this is, in my mind, it's kind of a repeat of that. And EA, it's clear they want nothing to do with Nintendo. And at this point, I don't even care. I don't even care.
No, and the rest of the gaming society doesn't care either.
See, that kind of hurts my feelings though, because I've been looking for a Madden on the Switch. Even though I'm not really into it, I just think of Madden as a game that you play on the go. Like sitting there on the couch, a 10-minute game turns into like 2 hours with timeouts and all that shit. So a game like that, I was looking forward to maybe an NBA Live. I mean, we already have 2K, and 2K is mopping the floor with NBA Live, except for the practices that they're doing with what is it, loot boxes and basically bribery. Um, I feel like we're EA is just they're just being stupid, man, and it kind of upsets me, man. Like it's very depressing because I actually like some EA games, and this kind of sucks. So
Shame.
yeah, I
I mean,
mean,
there's a
dude, that means
small
we're
handful,
not gonna wait.
very very few EA
I'm
games
never
that
gonna see a Star Wars
um,
games on EA unless Disney takes it away from them.
they should.
I mean, I remember when EA was being threatened by Disney to take away Star Wars because of what they did with loot boxes on Battlefront 2. I think they should have just pulled it from them and gave them to somebody else.
Yeah, at that point, the plug definitely should have been pulled off of EA as far as anything Disney related. But I don't know what kind of juicy information, dark secret stranglehold they have over Disney, but they got to keep that license for some damn reason.
And then on top of that, that game flopped fast because of that. Because most people don't understand this, and this goes back to like releasing a game same time is out of sight, out of mind, bro. Like because of the bad taste that they put in people's mouth with that game, when they finally took out the loot boxes and apologized, people were already done with that game.
Yeah, this kind of goes back into something we've covered on this podcast before, where like your first impressions in the gaming industry are everything, because that's when everyone's talking about your game. The release window and the time before and after that, it's a very short period of time for your game to really shine, and that's when all the reviews come out. And as we all know, reviews generally don't get updated. So if your game comes out and it sucks and you fail to update it, that review score, that reviewer is not going to take the time to re-review the game and update the score.
That is a fact. Uh,
So like it, some games very rarely do you see it turn around. You got Street Fighter Five and No Man's Sky, but pretty much any other game that tried turning it around just didn't do it. It couldn't be done. The first impressions were way too much to overcome.
yeah. Ferris, you got anything you want to add to that before I go on to something that I'm very upset about?
No, go ahead and tell me what grinds your gears.
So what stresses me out is the Nintendo fanboys on the internet.
Oh,
They,
we're getting into
oh
this.
yeah, I'm you know me, bro. Like Yellow Hulk is coming out, bro. Like there's no sugarcoat on this one.
Oh
I've
man.
gone all over the internet looking for my so-called peers that are Nintendo fans, Nintendo enthusiasts, Nintendo stands, whatever you want to call them, even the neutrals. I haven't seen a single one of them cover the fact that Joy-Con, the Switch Lite, is now added to the lawsuit, the class action lawsuit for Joy-Con drift. People are allegedly saying that after 20 hours on the Switch Lite that they're seeing Joy-Con drifts. Baron is one of them. What is it? Blandrew is one of them. There's a lot of people that I follow. Nintendo Life covered it. Because they can't be like that. They actually have a news site that they have to run. Even people like what is it? Switchforce didn't cover this. I think they had a tweet, but there's a lot of big Nintendo's fans that are not covering this, and I feel like we're back in the era of Nintendo fans when it came to the Wii U didn't want to say anything negative because they wanted their precious system to continue to sell. But this, if this is true and people are really coming out and there have been screenshots and videos of people saying no, this is happening, and Nintendo is literally just taking back the Switch Lite and swapping it out or having it being sent out, this is kind of like the Red Ring of Death thing, and Nintendo needs to give us a 3-year extended warranty on these things because I've ran into Switch Joy-Con drift on 3 of the Switches that I have in the house that my kids use, and then my personal one finally got it in the right Joy-Con, not even the left that everyone was talking about, and I noticed it when I was playing Astral Chain. Like my guy would just literally start looking up in the sky for no fucking reason. So I don't know why people aren't covering this, and it sucks that this is added. And Spawn Wave, the YouTuber, did a breakdown of the Switch Lite and found out that it's the exact same sticks from the Joy Cons. Nothing changed other than some branding numbers. It's the same build. I can go on more, but it's very upsetting that no one's covering this because this is hard-earned money that people are jumping into, and this also could hurt the Switch in ways that we may see Nintendo having to fork out billions of dollars to cover this, and that could go into resources and funding and R&D for new games.
I'll let Pharaohs take the wheel on this one and see if I have anything I'd like to say afterwards.
I don't really have much to add, in just saying that I'm one of the lucky ones, I guess. I have the Switch Lite, and I've definitely played in well over 20 hours on my Switch Lite, and I haven't had any drift associated with it yet, thank God. But, and this is a long story made short. You're welcome, guys. But a month ago, no, 2 months ago, say the till end of August, I traded in my original day one Switch to GameStop. I know, applause and boos. Go ahead. Um, to GameStop at a huge loss to get the revision of the Switch. Right. Then I turned around and got a Switch Lite like a week later, and they were flipping their lids, thinking that something was wrong with me. Ironically, the Switch Lite reproductions left Joy-Con started going wonky on me after 2 weeks of use. And I just took the Joy-Cons back into GameStop and said I wanted to trade them in for a different color. And they did it as an even swap. I think they knew what was going on, but yeah, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
See,
That's slick. Not gonna lie. Joy-Con
just
drift.
Joy Cons
It's it's not.
are $80 a pop, people. But go ahead, Takun.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it's not like some made up thing. People, it's not a small amount of people. It's quite a few. I have my day one Switch still, and uh, I still experience Joy-Con drift to this day. It's nowhere near as bad as it used to be, and I think that's because there's like some updates, and like the controllers themselves can get updates that Nintendo's pushed out, and it helps a lot. But it still happens very sporadically, and it is a problem. And I don't know what else to say other than this isn't a small amount of people. It's a general. It's a good number of people, enough to, you know, I can't find the words for this. It's enough to talk about, is what I'm trying to say. Because before, we've had issues in the past with like Nintendo hardware where it's literally like less than 10 people, right? And people would blow it out of proportion. And now we have the total opposite happening where it's like all these people have this one issue, and yet no one's really talking about it within our community. So it's just so weird to see both sides of this like bias.
Yep. It's that bias because when the Wii U wasn't getting games, there was only a few people talking about it. I don't even think Dr. Trey talked about this. The so-called white universal night for the Switch or Nintendo in general. If I'm wrong, someone correct me. I haven't seen him talk about this either. I haven't seen him tweet about this. I haven't seen anybody talk about this. Um, I just hope that Nintendo sees this, and obviously they have to because it's a part of the class action lawsuit. And if this, I understand that if the Switch Lite was already in R&D and it was too late to change this, that's not a customer's fault. That is Nintendo's fault. They could have held this back and launched it later. But I have a feeling that they're gonna next year they're gonna launch a revision Switch, because I actually have the new revision Switch with the longer battery life, and it's cool. It's the same Switch. For some reason, the Joy Cons feel a little bit heavier. I don't know. It's maybe probably me just being wonky about things. But they need to pay attention to this. And if they are holding off for their new Switch Pro, that's not going to have this issue. I think they need to account for that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So next topic, if anyone wants to add to this, is this is your topic that you wanted to talk about. This is the Mario Maker live, now live on Switch. This new update.
Oh, that's a topic I threw in there for us to talk about. I haven't hopped on Mario Maker 2 in a hot minute, but remember there was a controversy around Mario Maker 2 that you were not going to be able to play co-op with your friends online, and everyone got on that. See, this is moments like this where us voicing our discontent with something can get something done. So Nintendo said no co-op online with your friends, Super Mario Maker 2, and everyone was tripping. It was stupid. Why not? And then eventually came out and said, okay, look, we'll put it in there at a later update. Well, the update's here now. You should be able to play with your friends co-op in Mario Maker 2, and we'll have to do that. We'll have to have a game night where we all just that and just die constantly, but it'll be fun. And it's something that should have been there day one. Nintendo should have the foresight for stuff like this. Just a very basic, like bare bones online feature. And this is like right around the time where they were really trying to push the Nintendo Switch Online. Like, okay, you're going to tell me I have to pay money to not play with my friends online. What is that? But I'm glad they turned it around and the update's out now. So water
That's
under the bridge. But just keep in mind how Nintendo be thinking sometimes.
I'm actually looking at this now. It's a pretty cool feature. I wish they had a party system like this outside of the inside of a game, if you get what I'm saying. Like a part of their kind of like a PlayStation network. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't even know if I have that mobile phone app downloaded on my phone to basically talk with people. So this is a perfect example of it's crazy how Nintendo fans talk about a missing feature when it's a part of their game that they love so much. People love this game. It's selling like hotcakes. But I don't really hear the fans, other than the neutrals, other than IGN, other than like major websites, complaining that the Switch doesn't have a communication system that works inside of the Switch. I don't know if it's a part of the lack of memory, and again, that might be a Switch Pro adaptation. They haven't come out like PlayStation when they were saying that the PS3 couldn't do this because of lack of memory or whatever it was. So this is cool, and this is a perfect example of crying, or even if they, and this is a perfect example of even if you bought the game, voicing your opinion matters versus not buying the game and voicing your opinion. The developer or Nintendo just looks at you like, you didn't buy the game anyway, so you probably don't even know what the hell you're talking about. Please pass. But the game's selling well, and people are actually complaining about it, and actually complaining directly to Nintendo and making a big fuss about it. I didn't see videos, but I saw tweets and I saw people speaking up about this in podcasts, and something actually got done. So this is cool. They need to do more of this consistently. Pharaohs,
Yes.
your take on this?
I'm confused. So allow me to get some clarification. So we're upset at the. So are we upset at gaming journalists or are we upset at
No, no,
Nintendo
no.
fanboys?
So Nintendo finally added because when the game first came out, they said that you weren't going to be able to with Mario Maker 2, you weren't going to be able to play co-op with your friends. People were the actual fans were very upset about this, and they rioted Nintendo and threatened lives. and then
Okay.
and finally, after since the game launched, they came out with version 1.1 that allows you to now play co-op with your friends and basically join in on their games, kind of like adding like a multiplayer feature that should have been there day one. And I actually like the way the
Okay.
feature looks. I think this should be a feature that exists outside of the game itself, or like actually on the system. So we were just basically saying like this is a perfect example of bitching to the developer about a missing feature can go a long way.
Oh yeah, power to the people.
Yeah. So the last thing, not the last thing, the next topic is Overwatch director says Nintendo can have any character for Smash Bros. Ultimate. Me personally,
Hey, Doc.
I'm tired of the game. I'm tired of Smash Bros. I don't need another character. I'm playing with Little Mac and Cloud. That's it.
Hey, Dark.
Yo.
I have a question to both of you guys. I know this is your podcast, and I was just curious. I had an idea. I know this is kind of top of the head, totally unpredicted, but I wanted to know if we could do a segment at the end, maybe called like "Grind Your Gears" or something similar to that, where we just have a quick, top of your head topic that kind of bugs you and you want to get off the top of your head.
Oh hell yeah, I'm down with that.
Okay.
I'm not against that.
Yeah. So basically, Overwatch, we knew the game was coming for the Switch. 30 frames. I wish they gave us the choice to pick. So shout out to Farrell and Codemasters for giving us uh, Grid Autosport and being able to switch between graphics and frame rate. But anyway, this is not about that. So shout out to them. Overwatch, Bethesda, you should pay attention to that because gamers actually like that type of control. Um, any characters for the Switch? Anybody have a specific character they want? If
Junkrat.
who?
Junkrat. No, look. At this point, I'm pretty sure any developer would come out and say Nintendo can have any Smash Bros. Like the Switch version sold like 15 million within the first month. I have no idea what the sales are at now, and obviously, it's the biggest Smash Bros. Game to date. The roster's insane, and they've broken the door wide open to where damn near anyone is a possibility for Smash Bros. Like I could be in Smash Bros. At this rate. Like it's so crazy. So of course, with the whole thing behind this was, you remember a few months ago there was a rumors that there was going to be Overwatch character Smash, and this was before Overwatch was even announced on Switch. So there was a lot of speculation that someone from Overwatch was going to be in Smash Bros. So I'm guessing they're playing off of that and saying like, look, that's not happening. But if it did, Nintendo could pick any one of our characters, no questions asked.
Yeah. Quick shout out to Sick Humor for coming through. We definitely gotta go on your podcast, PlayStation podcast. I know me and Talking are down for that. What's up to Retro Knight? And what's up to Alabama Jones, Killer Cam, and Spider Man? Just shout out to the people that's been coming through, showing us love consistently. Yet for me, if they do, most people don't know this, but I do know Overwatch characters. If they did pick a character, the only characters I see being capable or being an icon or work in the Smash world is definitely going to be Tracer because of the way she could like trace. If she falls off the map, she could use double trace to basically get back on the map. She uses a gun. She's pretty. She looks pretty agile. It's if they picked anybody, it'd have to be her. And my second choice would be Genji because he's a ninja, and it wouldn't hurt to have another sword class in there.
Those, yeah, those two are kind of like some of the main faces of Overwatch. Like if they did pick Overwatch character, it'd have to be someone from like when the game originally came out, because that has the most recognizable cast. Like anyone added over time might not be as familiar. And I do think Tracer and Genji were definitely top of the meta, like in the early days when Dive was like the meta, where it was all about mobility and agility. Those two were at the top of the game. So, yeah, both of those picks would, they make perfect sense.
Yeah, even here they're literally saying Tracer is one of them. Pharaohs, anybody?
Yeah, I have something to say about this. I am not the hugest Overwatch fan, but and this might sound somewhat controversial, but in my personal humble opinion, there are already a crap ton
See?
of women in Smash, and not to mention, and not to go there, but either Asian or Caucasian faces. And personally, for me, I would like to see some more diversity. So I'm going to vote for Doomfist to come.
Ooh, okay,
I
yeah.
knew he was gonna say Doomfist. Nah, I'll do you one better. Lucio.
Take that back.
No, Lucio would be dope. He'd fit in Smash perfectly.
I will
He's
fight
got
to the
he's
street.
chill. I mean, maybe Smash needs more villains, yeah, but I mean, I would like to see Lucio over Junkrat. My personal opinion. But I mean, realistically, it would be Genji or Tracer.
Anybody from the comments and watching live, put your in the comment section who you would like to see from Overwatch.
Doomfist.
Who is Doomfist again?
Big black guy
Oh yeah, we
with a
The
definitely
big
guy
fist.
yeah
with the giant ass fist. That's Doomfist.
we definitely need to put some color up in there. You
Thank
know,
you.
yeah, we definitely need to see some color in there, or the ape dude. I don't know who the hell that is, but the ape guy.
Right. Are you
Um,
calling black people apes?
yo, no, there's an ape guy in the game, bro.
We were talking about race diversity. Are you talking about black people being apes?
Oh my god. Here we go.
Racist.
I know Ferris knows the name of the character, and
You're
he's
so
just.
racist.
Oh, that's you know what? Hey, I'm black. I could say it, but I get
You're
correct.
still racist. You're racist against blacks. Doesn't
Uh,
make it better.
all right. See, the
That
ape's
self
name
hatred
is
racism.
Winston. The ape's name is Winston. So it'll be, but why not have another one? We have so many human characters. Why not have somebody that would literally go against Donkey Kong? Or maybe that's why they won't pick him because he'd resemble him too much.
Yeah.
All right. So moving on, and this is all Takun because I don't know. I did not play this garbage. So Mario Kart Tour is now available in iOS and Android, and apparently some people don't like it. Some people think it looks like trash, but people like Baron are calling people that think that are complete acidine idiots because it's a mobile game. What did they expect?
I'm sorry there. I missed that last little bit. What are we talking about?
Yeah. So Mario Kart Tour is out, and
And it sucks.
it sucks,
All right, next topic. I
but
mean, I mean, okay.
why does it suck?
Ferris, have you played the game? Do you have anything to say before I tear this to shreds?
Yeah, I played it. It feels like a game for grandmas. That's all I have to say.
That's
so
an insult to
so
grandmas, my
so it's
dude.
a Wii title.
Not even.
What
No.
insult we like that?
It's it's exactly how you would picture if or EA got to publish a game on a smartphone. Like all the microtransaction stuff is there. The game has tutorials where it forces you to open loot boxes basically, and you can't skip it. You can't do anything about it. Like it handholds you through the whole process of here's how to race. Now here's how to spend all the money. Now here's like some free money. Go spend it. And it's it's wild to think that it came from Nintendo. The gameplay itself is okay. It's I guess about as good as mobile Mario Kart could be. Being stuck in portrait mode instead of landscape mode really sucks for me. I'd love to play something like this in landscape, but um, yeah. Aside from the gameplay, which is okay, just the entire game is trying to nickel and dime you for everything you have. The game is super grindy if you don't spend money. Like a new character, if you wanted to unlock them, could be like 800 coins. Well, you're only winning like 10 to 30-ish coins per race. So you clearly have to do a lot of races before you get several hundred. Um, and then on top of that, it's also affected by like the amount of points you just automatically start off with. Certain parts, certain characters have certain bonuses on. So not using certain parts or certain characters is really hurting your point score overall, and it hurts your progression through the game. It hurts the amount of money you earn after the race, and I don't like that at all. That it's forcing you to basically buy more things so you can earn more money, and then also forcing you to use certain parts and characters that you may not want to use just because you're missing out on money. Uh, yeah, thanks Nintendo. I hate it. Like, what else can I say?
I can say something else.
I'm actually
Please do.
playing. I'm actually playing this trash right now.
Okay, well, while you're playing that, allow me to paint a different picture for you, okay? In my personal experience. So it's a rainy night. I'm sitting there with my grandma. She's in a rocking chair and she's knitting some socks for me. And I'm playing this game that I downloaded from Nintendo called Mario Kart on my cell phone. And grandma asks, or Nana Betsy, shout out to Nana Betsy. She says, "What do you got there, Sonny?" And I walk over to her rocking chair and I show her the game. And after about 5 minutes of playing the game, she says it's too slow and she's bored. Now, keep in mind, Nana has had 5 strokes and 6 heart attacks. So, yeah.
Oh, that's messed up.
Oh man. Yeah, I'm playing this trash right now, and the turning mechanics is just hot trash. I'm good. Whoo, that's bad.
Dang, you didn't even get
So
through
you
the
beat my
fourth
Nana then, right?
tutorials.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Huh?
Look, if we were gonna sit down and play Mario Kart with
Hold on.
the elders in our family, right, we would pull out the Wii version. That it. Oh my goodness, the amount of money they're basically trying to get out of you from Mario Kart Tour. You are better off just buying a Switch and getting Mario Kart 8. Like there's no
Oh,
point to this game in its current state.
oh my
Like,
God. Hold on, hold on. Alabama Jones basically said that he watched Dashi. Shout out to Dashi. If you don't know who that is, check his name out. Dashi Games. He paid about $200 of that game on his live stream. I'm good.
nah. See, that's a Switch Lite. He could have bought a Switch Lite.
And he could have bought Mario Kart too if he had some games to trade in.
That's a damn shame. Yeah, don't get invested in Mario Kart Tour. Not worth it. The game itself is mediocre at best, and then just you're not going to progress without playing the game a shit ton or spending a lot of money. Not worth the investment. Don't bother. Save your phone the battery life. Save it the storage space. Save yourself the sanity. Save yourself the money.
Damn, that sucks. Uh, damn, bro. So the one of the last topics before we get to grind my gears is the developer of Mario and Luigi developer AlphaDream has filed for bankruptcy. That sucks horribly, man. Uh, I actually played some of those games back in the day. I just wish they would have went back to making like this. I don't know if this is a group that did Mario RPG: The Seven Stars. I don't know who made that one. I think it was Square, but they need to go
Yeah,
back
that,
and
that was
make.
SquareSoft back before they were Square Enix.
They need to go back and make those type of RPGs. I know some people actually love this. Are these guys responsible for Paper Mario as well?
No.
No,
Okay.
that was a different dev.
Yeah. So there are some people that bought this. I don't know how well those games sold. But that sucks, dude. Like I never like to see developers file for bankruptcy. Um, but that just screams the fact that they didn't try new things to pull people in. Or Mario's just getting I don't know, repetitive.
Ferris, I'll let you go before I have my stuff to say because there's a little insight I have to why this happened this way.
Okay, sure. I would just like to say rest in peace to a very cute, entertaining, funny RPG series. I bought most of the games on that series and enjoyed all of them. I'm very sorry to the developers if any of them might ever get a chance to listen to this. And my heart goes out to you and your families. I hope you guys can recover and find new jobs. But yeah, it's a shame that this has happened, and yeah, there's no other way to say it. It's just a shame.
Yeah, that's definitely a shame. I wish them a lot of love. How many games did they make? I know they had some.
Like 3 or 4, I want to say.
Did they have any on the original? Oh, yeah, they only did on the 3DS up to yeah, just the 3DS, right? I don't think they were
No,
on
No,
it
anything.
started on
no.
GBA. It went all the way.
GBA, yeah, GBA, DS, and 3DS.
Okay, okay. Yeah. So that sucks, dude. I wish them the best, man. I never
Yeah,
like to
it's
see
terrible it
devs
happens.
go
No
off.
one ever wants to see a developer go down. There's publishers out there we hate. The world would be better off without them. But
EA.
developers, the people that put their heart and soul in making a game, that sucks. You never want to see it happen. And I don't want to see this go under. Nintendo to scoop them up. We don't know if that's going to be the move because when they filed for bankruptcy, the IP automatically went to Nintendo. So they might not even see a need to scoop these guys up since they own the IP now. But these guys, these games, first of all, are fun. I haven't played all of them. I played the, the remake on 3DS, I believe, and it's fun. It's funny. The games are good enough, and it's a different take on RPGs. It's combining the elements of the platforming with the battle system, and it's interesting. It's fun. And these developers, the problem is here, their last game came out on the 3DS like last year. So remember when Nintendo was going through that whole, we're still supporting the 3DS guys, look. And basically, AlphaDream here just got thrown under the bus developing for a dead platform that Nintendo just refuses to admit is done. So the game, whatever, I don't even remember the title of the one that just dropped most recently here, but it flopped hard, hard. And it's not because it was a bad game. It's like I said, it's just released at a point where there's no interest in it at all. We've had the Switch for a few years now. So who wants to go buy a new game on their 3DS? You know what I'm saying?
Me.
So they may have had problems before that, but I almost guarantee that was like the nail in the coffin leading up to this bankruptcy.
So would you say it's Nintendo's fault for this happening, for not literally just saying the Switch is dead, and just literally just making uh, this developer put this game on Switch?
I don't know if it's Nintendo's fault or like entirely their fault, but I definitely think it'd be a much different story had their most recent game been a Switch game instead of a 3DS game, for sure. I mean, think about it. If a 3DS game came out like right now, who would even care? Think of think of a game series you love, and now just think about it being announced and released on the 3DS. What do you think would happen?
I would go
Especially,
get it.
especially when you're
Well,
you're
Feros, maybe your opinions are relevant because you're a retro gamer.
yeah, and then on top of that too, especially when your new hardware takes some of your handheld gamers to this because this platform is hybrid. You play it on the TV, you play it on the go. So a lot of these games, especially knowing that Pokemon is going to be coming to the system, and you're not going to get any more Pokemon games on the 3DS. I think that it's a shame that Nintendo didn't forewarn these people. And even now, I don't think Nintendo has said that the 3DS is not being supported anymore. As a matter of fact, I think there's one game that literally just got some updates from Nintendo saying that it's gonna be coming. They're updating and it's now live on 3DS. I forgot what game it is. Um,
I'm not even aware of this.
yeah, they just got an update. Yeah, about to see my like freaking. Hopefully none of my porn stuff comes up. Yeah, let's go to Nintendo.com.
Look, the moral of the story here, just move on. Nintendo, let the 3DS die out. It had a great life. It's been over 8 years. It's like 8.5 years at the point. The 3DS has been around. It had its time. Let the Switch take over.
I knew there was another. Look at this, man. Now available now. Mario and Luigi, Bowser Inside Story, available now. Like, yeah, they're pitching this, but bro, you're not doing these guys any justice. You're not updating them. You're not being real because I'm pretty sure if they knew that Nintendo ahead of time was not gonna come out, like for instance, I remember when the 3DS came out and I was looking forward to the 3DS, the smaller one, and then they were like, oh no, we're only getting the XL. I just think Nintendo's
Oh
messaging with
yeah, and then
that
they
system.
released the regular new 3DS later.
Mm-hmm. Well, you were
Yep.
able to get into Japan and other places. So hold on. New releases. Dude, I knew there was something new that just got an update. I saw it come up. Nah, whatever. It's not that important.
While you're doing that, I want to just defend myself real quick by saying that even before I became an avid collector, I've always been a firm believer of good games, no matter what platform they come out on, are deserving of money if they're a quality and they're made with some level of competence. And yeah, if a new game came out on the Wii right now, and there was a series that I liked or it just looked intriguing to me, I would go get it regardless of collecting or not. It has nothing to do with it.
Yeah,
I like good games, no matter what platform they're on. In the story.
I like to also support game. I know sometimes people say that's dumb, but I like to support developers that actually put hard work into their game. Like for instance, Feral and the guys that are coming out with outside. What's the name of the new RPG coming out from the guys from the guys that did the first Sky the Fallout game, Fallout New Vegas? Is it them? Obsidian, the Outer Worlds. Yeah, I'm gonna support those guys because they're like, for instance, Grid Autosport definitely needs the support that they should be getting. People should go out and support that game because they did a phenomenal job bringing it over to the Switch. And on top of that, it's about to get multiplayer. So they're doing hardcore support. I personally think there was something that I was gonna say earlier and it slipped my mind. I think Nintendo needs to buy Panic Button and have them deal with all of the third party games coming over to Switch. So that if there are games coming over and then a developer like EA wants to bring a game over and they don't want to do the work, just have Panic Button come in and do that work for them. I think that's what Nintendo needs to do. Have a specific set of teams. Like who's the other team that ports over games to the Switch that did a phenomenal job? I know Panic Button is one. Um, I don't remember who the other guys are, but there was another company that did pretty good ports over to the Switch. Who did the? Yeah, it was Panic Button that did Doom. Either way, I think they need to have their own. Um, I can't find that game. It's whatever. Eventually, it's gonna hit my head, and I'm just gonna have to like tweet it. That's kind of it in a sense. There's really nothing else to talk about. Um,
Hold up. Pharaoh suggested the
oh
Grind
no
My
no
Gear
no no no
segment,
no.
so
We're
I
gonna,
think
we're
it's
about to
fair
go to
that
that.
he.
I'm about to go to that. I just wanted to basically say like we're done for topics. So grind my gears. I kind of since it's his thing. Ferris, go ahead. Put your 2 cents in, sir.
It's our thing now, sir. And honestly, it's self-explanatory. I noticed as we were going over topics, there were things that I want to talk about, and of course they were on the agenda. That was my fault. I was busy doing stuff before we got started. But anyways, today's topic for Grab My Gears, as we're currently calling it, before we change the name to something else more copyright friendly, um, is for me as a person. It's going to be collecting games. Okay. And this is a pet peeve that I have to anybody who's currently holding on to games that you are not playing, you will never touch again, and have no interest in owning, but you just hold on to them just because. I have started collecting for Saturn, which has been a labor of love, but also a pain in my neck. It is super hard to find games for Sega Saturn. I know it wasn't the most popular game console in the United States. I get that, but people out there who have these games, let them go, and please let them go for a fair price. No one Saturn game should cost $120 starting out at the low end of the kiddie pool. We're talking about the cheap stuff's like $100 plus. I do not want to pay that kind of money for a system that is what 3 or 4 generations old now. Like, come on, be realistic. Stop being greedy. Give up these games. So I gotta say,
Stop being greedy. Feed the needy.
yes. I mean,
Uh,
I'm giving my money is good. I'll give you money, but I'm not gonna have you rape my wallet.
oh man. Okay. I kind of agree with that, and then I'm a collector, and I have a few Saturn games that I'm not gonna let go of.
How dare you?
I still have my track and field mat for my NES. I still have my Famicom robot that I'm never gonna
Oh
get rid of.
wow, I'll buy that off of you.
I'm never gonna get rid of it, man. It's a part of my childhood. I still have the original box for all that stuff. It's a bad habit. I even keep the collector's edition box for games. Like my wife hates it because I it's in the garage and I take like a whole section and I have all that stuff over there. So what grinds my gears are two things: people not being fair and keeping the same energy when it comes to their choice of platform. And then whenever someone tries to be fair, labeling them as a fanboy of something else. For instance, everybody knows that I'm big on Nintendo, but I'm also very fair. Um, I also play PlayStation, and obviously you see who I work for. Uh, I also love my PlayStation. Xbox could literally burn in hell. Um, now that the fact that I have a
How
gaming
dare you?
PC, the fact that I have a gaming PC and I have gamers on Ultimate Unlocked, I get their games over here. So Microsoft should just literally turn into a third-party studio. That's my take on that. But I don't like it when you try to be fair and say things like, "Why is no one talking about Joy-Con drift? Why is no one putting Nintendo to the same hole that when the PS3, I think it was, had a problem with party chat and it was a lack of memory, people were still giving PlayStation shit." And no, the hardcore Nintendo fans are not making videos pressuring Nintendo to come out with a messaging system. I actually put up a tweet the other day talking about this, and people were saying that everybody and their mother has Discord. My kids all have a Nintendo Switch, and none of them have a Discord account. So I'm pretty sure there are other parents like that because I can't control who my kid talks to on Discord. You know what I'm
Hey
saying?
Dark,
Yeah.
is this a light skin issue? Because my cousin has the same argument.
I don't know, man. Light brights think alike.
Did you guys get together and decide to have this conversation today? Because I mean, he was just going off about this like a day ago.
It's I don't know, man. I get light brights like to keep their family close and tight, bro. Like I need
I see.
I need to know who my kids are talking to. Even when my son plays Fortnite, he doesn't have a mic. Like I refuse to have him have a mic. I don't play Fortnite, but when I did and I went on the microphone and hearing little kids say nigger this, bitch that, you're a pussy dick face. Like sorry for any kids that are listening, but those are the things that are being said. And my daughter literally just hurled that. I'm sorry, baby. But when you say those things and your immediate rebuttal is when I said about the PS Vita having more features, I literally got backlash and called a PlayStation fanboy. When in fact the Vita had way more features. I even said it had remote play, and instead of covering the other things, they attacked, why do I need remote play? I'm like, what about the other things that I talked about? Why did no, 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 you need to answer about remote play. Dude, we need to talk about, okay, it doesn't need remote play. It's a hybrid system. Oh, so you're an idiot. You're a dumbass. Take an L for that. Bro, it still doesn't have a messaging system. It still doesn't have a rating system. So if I buy a game, or not even, I want a rating system and I want comments within the rating systems. Because I need to know if this game at launch has a serious bug. Because not everybody reviews. That's another thing too. When it comes to reviewing games, a lot of the games that come out on Switch are not reviewed because of how old they are, and no one knows if they launch with bugs. For instance, I bought Mutant War Zero for the Switch, and that game has a shit ton of bugs and launched looking nothing like Nintendo showed on the eShop. And a week later, a patch came out to fix that. If I Before I even knew that patch was there, If I saw that people were complaining about that, I would have held off on my sale. But instead of saying you're right, it's don't buy the game then. Like I hate that shit about the community. Like stop protecting your box. Stop protecting the company you love and be fair. Stop calling somebody a fanboy of something else without actually thinking about it before you jump on board and attacking. I think it's stupid, and that's what grinds my gears. And my last thing, Nintendo needs to add more features. I'm paying $39 for all my kids to play on their Switch, and I can't even tell my kids, "Hey, I see you're playing this. You want to jump on a game?" Nope, I got to send a message through Google, saying I'm not gonna say because I have a Google mic here. Blank Google, uh, you guys want to get online with me while I'm away in San Diego? Because I can't message them to do that, and their phones are locked at a specific time of night, even on weekends that they're off. So
Good job.
yeah, so I'm pretty serious about being a parent. Like they have iPhones, so the moment a message comes through that I don't know, yeah, who is that? So that's there's a lot of weirdos on the internet, man. You got to protect your children. That's what
Indeed.
grinds my gears. Takun,
So, hmm. You kind of took some of the stuff I want to say, but I guess I'll do
add
like
your
a little
flavor to it.
subsection of that. Now, so uh, what grinds my gears is like double standards, which you definitely covered, and then people fanboying to the point where it's a hindrance to whatever company you're fanboying for. So obviously, I'll use Nintendo since I'm most familiar with that. The Switch overall is awesome as it is, but there's so many things, like you said, features that we're missing and we're not getting because there's not enough people asking for it. There's things that have been around since like the Wii that we don't have. And it's amazing that people can just sit there and be like, "Oh, well, we can play games on the go." Like, no, who cares that we don't have all the yeah, look, like we covered earlier in this podcast, when you voice legitimate concerns and opinions from a fan perspective, someone that supports the company, buys their products, buys their games, whatever, things can get done. Like, that's how the whole Operation Rainfall thing happened. Like, look how many Xenoblade Chronicles we got now because Operation Rainfall, because we told Nintendo, look, we don't want this to be Japanese exclusive. We want to play this game over here. So we got Xenoblade Chronicles. We got Xenoblade Chronicles X, Xenoblade Chronicles 2. We got Xenoblade Chronicles on the 3DS. And now we're getting a remake on the Switch. And to think that all came from fans wanting to play the game, like voicing their opinions on the internet, physically writing letters to Nintendo. That's amazing. And then going back to the Super Mario Maker 2, being able to play with our friends online, never would have happened if everyone just sat on the sidelines and said nothing. So I want that same energy for some of these other features that we're missing. I want that same energy for voice chat. I want it for bringing either virtual console back or adding more games to the library of the NES and eventually bringing 64 and GameCube games over to Switch Online. Just in general, buffing the online features of the Switch. This is a thing that we're paying for. And as of right now, we don't have anything really to show for it. Nothing that really justifies paying $20 a year for Nintendo's online services.
And
That bothers me.
if you want to,
It
if you want to
really bothers
compare
me.
that, like to add to what you're saying is, uh, people are comparing and saying that $20 is not just to play online, but it's like Game Pass, or it's like PlayStation Now. And you know what? Those are only $20 a month. I get it. This is a year, but still, they're giving you online features and all that stuff. But go ahead, man.
Uh, Gosh, I just lost my train of thought.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I
No,
need to
no,
learn.
it's good. Look, just a bunch of things missing on the Switch. We've proven in the past we can get things done if we voice our concerns and opinions from a place of love, and it just bothers me so much when people kind of like trick themselves into thinking, well, I don't like this feature, so I shouldn't talk about it, or I don't really care for. It's like it's not all about you. There's other people that want this. Like you're hindering the experience for everyone just because you're being selfish, sitting there from your perspective saying, I don't care about achievements. I don't care about online voice chat. It's like, well, power to you, more power to you. But some of us care.
Facts. To add to that, like remember, like for instance, this M Classic. One of the biggest things is that a lot of people have 4K TVs. A lot of people are buying even the cheap 4K TVs. Like I said to somebody, I said, are you going to cover the fact that there's a device that actually increases your resolution by 20% for people that own 4K TVs, this M Classic? And that big Nintendo fan that actually has a lot of people that follow him said, I don't care about that shit. Like, I never understand that, man. Like, it's dummy.
Yeah, so
But all right,
when things like this happen and other people are asking for a feature I don't particularly care for, I don't sit there and go like, well, I don't care, so it sucks to be you. I sit there and like, it's not for me, but I see where you're coming from, and I hope it happens, right? Except for freaking EA and Activision on the Switch, they can stay on forever. I don't care about that.
Stop saying that. I want a Madden.
Other than that, like other things that are like, there's no reason for the whole virtual console to be missing when you had it on the Wii U, which was the HD system. It cannot be that difficult to have that entire library running on Switch in no time. That's free money Nintendo's missing out on, not having those games on there. And then other features like the web browser, there's no voice chat, which has been around since like the Wii.
Well,
actually, no, the DS came out before the Wii, right? DS came out before the Wii, and DS had voice chat. Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness. It's amazing that Nintendo is failing on features that they have already done decades ago. That bothers me. That grinds my gears.
You know what I'd like to see come back before I end the podcast? I'd like to see us three have a special guest on the show, and his name is KFD, just to bring back old memories.
Oh, man.
All right, people. If you don't know who that is, go look him up on the old videos. Back when, most people don't know this, but me, Takun, and actually just me, I don't know. Yeah, Takun, you were there. But me and Cam/Frag/Pharaohs were the very first to start a podcast in this community, and it was called the Gamers Roundtable.
Oh, that's a throwback. Yeah.
Yep. But anyways, this is Dark Cloud Sun, or whatever you want to call me, DC193. Definitely hit the subscribe and like. Share your comments with us, and also any topics that you want us to cover, hit. And if some of you want to actually be guests on the show, definitely hit up me, Takun, and possibly Cam. He doesn't know this because I haven't told him yet, but thinking about having him be a regular. But got to talk to Takun, being that he's co-host and all that stuff first. But it's been a while since, it's good to have friends on here, and I literally just died playing this game. Definitely a noob. You guys say your outros. As is, like, subscribe, comment, and share with your friends. The more people that see this, the more people that come in here. And likes are way more important than shared. The more likes, Google, YouTube shows more people to watch. And we are still consistent on this channel. Yeah, this week was dry, but we posted more videos than most other channels in the beginning. Takun, say your, outro and all that jazz.
It's Takun, one of the regulars on this channel. Upload. I upload random things. I'm trying different things, so keep an eye out for that. The next video we got cooking up, I don't know when it's going to drop because I have to rely on other people, but when it drops, it's going to be fire. Keep an eye out for that. yeah, just go ahead. If you're not subscribed, subscribe because we got more stuff coming. Great content, a lot of variety within the content, and it's gonna be a good time. So stick around for that, and I will let Pharos plug his stuff.
Hey everybody, thanks for putting up with me. I am not good enough to be a regular on this podcast. I humbly would not impose myself on these guys, but I am very honored that they had me as a guest, and I'll come back whenever they ask. Um, as far as reaching me, I am not on social media right now, but I will be next time I'm on. That's a promise. All right, bye.
All right, thank you. Yeah, he's too busy being a porn star in Georgia.
That's got to be the only way he buys all the games, right? All those retro consoles.
Bro, he literally just said he bought a Switch Lite. Ain't none of us had the money to buy a Switch Lite. I'm just saying.
I mean,
I got the black one. Racist.
All right, people, we're out.